thought about something that I thought about earlier and I wrote down in my notes. So I wanted to talk about this because I thought it was a good topic. And the topic is this. Should we cancel LilNasX? I think it's a fair question. I think it's a fair question. And the reason I brought up this question is because, as you've seen over my past 2 or 3 videos now, I have talked about the situation with LilNasX, how it correlates with DaBaby, T.I., and many others. And even though DaBaby, I don't believe was directly speaking in LilNasX, so I want to make that clear. At the same time, the premise of the conversation remains the same. And that is dealing with not only the LGBT community, but I think how they should be insulted by how there's a few within that category of society that is angry at the fact more so, but not realizing the fact that this man, with DaBaby I'm mentioning, when he got on stage and he said what he said about people that had AIDS and things like that or whatever, and trust me, I understand this is wrong. But the direct correlation that many people got with the LGBT community, just because of that statement, nobody ever took it and said, well, maybe it could be 2 different statements. You know? Maybe you could say on one hand, hey, I'm not dealing with this, but on the other hand, I'm dealing with that. And that's for anybody to toss up. I don't want to get anybody confused here. But LilNasX has become a topic of discussion in this new frame of thinking of do what thou wilt. Do what thou wilt. Meaning that during the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, the same term, not in the same words, of course. This was termed by Aleister Crowley. If you guys don't know who Aleister Crowley is, I encourage you not to go look him up if you don't know who he is, okay? But Aleister Crowley was actually the person who coined the phrase, do what thou wilt. Meaning that in anticipation of anarchy, in anticipation of sexual indulgence, in anticipation of this plain out malice in society, you may do what thou wilt. Even if that means total deconstruction of society, total, as the word suggests, anarchy. LilNasX fits in that plateau. Why do I say that? Because to me, LilNasX is telling the world one thing. Hey, it's okay to be gay. Nobody has a problem with that. It is okay. If you want to be gay, that's fine. I have friends that are gay. I've got 2 cousins that are gay. It's not a big deal. That's not the problem. I think what a segment and a high segment of the LGBT community was saying, based off these 2 different instances of his display of him being involved with the LGBT community, I think what people were mentioning in the LGBT community was this. And I quote this one gay brother I saw online that did a podcast. He said, bitch, you just came out 2 seconds ago. That's the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. He said, bitch, you just came out the closet 2 seconds ago. Why you doing all of this? He said, I've been gay for 22 years and I ain't never did no shit like that. That's exactly what this guy said. I can't think of his name, but I'm going to look it up and I'm probably going to chop something up about it. But irregardless, a lot of people in that community don't feel the same and don't applaud him. Basically, as I always say, you want to come to Bill Sharp's town and show your ass? Well, he came to Bill Sharp's town to show his ass. And some people liked it, and some people didn't. And I think that sticks out, the people that liked it more than the people that didn't like it. And the people that liked it are getting more of a voice than the people that didn't like it. And when you really look at it in essence, it's more people that didn't like it and didn't appreciate it. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. 13, 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds are at an age where they're pre-adolescent, for one. 2, their minds haven't fully developed. To be quite honest with you, as a man, your mind doesn't start full. It's still developing to the age of 25, 27. The same thing with women. Women are a little bit skewed, a little bit shorter, but their minds are still developing. With that mentioned, can we take the words that DaBaby said on stage during his performance at Lollapalooza, do we take those words that he said and do they supersede the actions that LilNasX did on stage? Because the way I look at it in the equation, I look at it like this. You're telling people on one hand, it's okay to twerk on men in videos. It's okay to simulate dancing naked in the shower. It's okay. And don't get me wrong, baby, you got a controversial video too with getting dome or whatever in the video. I've seen that or whatever. But many people are gonna chart that off as being heterosexual. And heterosexuals also catch HIV and AIDS. So that's why I said, why was this maintained? HIV is not that's why I said I think people from the LGBT community should be actually insulted that they are correlating HIV and AIDS with the LGBT community here 20, 30, 40 years later after its surgence. Does that make sense? Back then, I remember, because I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s to 90s to 2000s. And so I remember those times. I remember when people were dying left and right. I remember seeing, different stars catching, including Magic Johnson. And so I grew up seeing these things. And I remember that they used to term it, and they said, oh, HIV and AIDS, that's a gay people's disease. And then you turn around and not even 5 years later, straight people started catching it. Superstars, entertainers, musicians. Eazy died of AIDS, remember? He wasn't gay. He caught it from a woman. So if I was part of the LGBT community, first thing I would be like, hold the fuck up now. Why are you putting this on us? I wouldn't embrace that cookie. That's what I'm trying to tell you. No pun intended. I wouldn't embrace that. I would let alone just sit on the subject of HIV and AIDS itself, and then from there have the conversation with people. Oh, well, let me educate you. Let me tell you this or whatever. We all know DaBaby has apologized and everything like that, but why hasn't LilNasX apologized for these displays that he's put out there for children? Why are the advocates that are so against the artists, including DaBaby that spoke up, that includes T.I., that includes Lil Bootsy, and their attempts at trying to cancel them in this whole cancel culture ecosphere, basically the crybabies and the nobodies of society that all came together and said, we're somebody too. But in a regular world without the internet, we beating you up and taking your lunch money. Now, let me tell you guys something about LilNasX. You motherfuckers got duped by this guy. When he first came out, he had that Old Town Road song. Everybody thought he was a cowboy. He was a rough and tough, all right, I can dig with this. Then he started doing the follow-ups. Now you got 3 videos, and each one is to outdo the next. So in the first video, after Old Town Road, Montero, or whatever the hell that shit was called, you're giving a lap dance to the devil. You put out a pair of sneakers that apparently, or accordingly to everybody else, have blood droplets in it, and you're selling. You moniker these with Nike attached to it. I never knew what happened in the disposition with that, because Nike was kind of pissed about it at first. Maybe they cooled out because they saw its popularity. You move on. You got the BET Awards. He has his performance. It's already kind of questionable because he has a whole bunch of men up there with no shirts on and everything else or whatever. And there's kids watching this at home. And I think there's a way to embellish your sexuality without having to take your clothes off. And I think that's what a lot of people in the LGBT community was saying. In their discussions individually, how they felt about his actions. Now let's fast forward to the latest antics, where you have him in this video. He's twerking on men. He's simulating whatever kind of sexual innuendo in the shower scene, naked with other men. He has a man like you see in the picture, in the headline picture right here, twerking on top of him. I'm like, okay, this is a lot. Even Jack Harlow's part at the end, it was a lot. We had the girl in the cell with him, her ass is hanging out, whatever. Very nice ass. But, you know what I'm saying? The girl had her ass hanging out. I'm talking about the white chick that was in the video with him. So, if you want to judge Baby because you said there's this one scene where he's getting, you know, dome in the video, in his newest video, that's the one with his Uncle Larry in it and all that. Well, if you want to judge him, can we judge Jack Harlow? Because he did the same thing at the second portion of the video. You see, there's a lot of hypocrisy in this whole discussion. And I think the only thing I see out of this whole thing is a whole bunch of fucking crybabies that can't get their way or want to somehow projectionally force feed you that you must like this. Now, I know a lot about force feed motherfuckers product in the music industry. We force feed a lot of artists. Force fed, a lot of artists. Which that means that at the time, because, you know, I started in 2000 up until 2016 going into 17. But when you force feed an artist to somebody, that means you repeatedly have outlets play their music. You repeatedly pay whatever sample amount of money. And I'm sure the means have changed differently, but the basic means of it are the same way. It's the outlets that they utilize to do it are different. But if we're talking about a CD, all right, and digital imprint as well, you know, you take the single and you saturate it around to DJs. And DJs may not like it or whatever. And you tell them, hey, listen, if you can work in one verse and then cut to the next, you know, whatever you need to do, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I would appreciate it. Well, sooner or later, after people have heard that all the time, it's called a repetitious thought. Every time somebody's heard that and they hear it more and more and more and more, even if they hate it, they like it. This is part of musical theory. It's a growing type of not emotion, but a growing type of sense of likability based on the fact of familiarity. That's the best way I can explain it. Your ear is almost trained to like it even if it doesn't like it. It's almost like a fruity too, you know. People say you need to acquire a taste for it, you know. Let me see if any of you guys in here saying anything. I want to know your ideas too. Do you think we should cancel LilNasX? Who's this right here? Hey Larry, what's going on, bro? Do you think we should cancel LilNasX? I want to know, do people think we should really cancel LilNasX? And I'm going to pick this up a little bit further tomorrow. But the reason I ask this question is, if you're raising the fact that we should get rid of DaBaby, we should get rid of T.I., we should get rid of Lil Booty, and let's not get anything confused here. All three of those gentlemen have done some things in their life and some imagery in their videos that weren't that great. But never to the extreme of LilNasX. And even the things they did to the extreme, most of the time they would be like, oh, well, we've seen that before. We had never seen what LilNasX did. We had never seen it. We had never seen even Elton John, who was the king of queens. Hey, Elton John. Hey, girl. We have seen the king of queens not even do that on stage. In fact, most of these LBGT members that I've seen, whether it be Ellen DeGeneres, whether it even be Niecy Nash, whether it be George Michael, rest his soul, or many other people that come from that community, they always hid what they did. Now, I don't think they hid what they did out of embarrassment necessarily, because most of those people came out in the late 90s and Madonna in the 2000s or whatever. Well, it was making a transition in society anyway that it was more acceptable. Had it versus what it had previously been. I get that. But more so importantly, I think the problem that I have is the imagery that's invoked in these and the messenger that they hit. Does that make sense? I think the most controversial thing I saw as a kid was Madonna. She had a video called Like a Prayer and Justify My Love. Justify My Love came on at a certain time because they felt that it wasn't appropriate for children to view it or whatever. Maybe it was a time where the degradation of morals was just at the beginning in this country, you know, but nevertheless, I remember that. Madonna got the Justify My Love video banned, and Like a Prayer, they also banned it. They also banned it that. The difference between Like a Prayer, it was totally ripped from MTV. I think the controversy was at the time they had a black Jesus in the video, believe it or not. And so, which is historically correct, but you know, some people they worship whatever they worship. So I'm not going to get into that argument. You know, some people they worship white deities and white skin based on the fact that they see opportunity. And I always tell my white friends, if you ever get a person like that, a color around you, I don't give a fuck if they're my people or not. Get them the fuck away from you. You don't understand them just like I don't understand your people fully. But what I do understand of them, that's an opportunist. And especially if they black and Latin or Latin, that's why they're there. A lot of times. They will pick nose with you, they'll brown nose with you, they'll say, oh yeah, that's great, da 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 da. Yeah, God, that's totally wild, da 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 da. Let me tell you, my whole adult life, I've lived in condos and all kinds of shit. I've lived by the beach on the shoreline here in Connecticut. I've like, this is the roughest time I've ever had in my life, and I needed it. But one thing I didn't do, and I'll make this clear to you, one thing I didn't do was, I never displayed what I had. I never displayed, hey, this is where I live. I never displayed, hey, this is who I date. I never displayed, hey, this is who I'm with, this is what I got, this is where we went to. I never did that on display. And many people up at Bad Boy Entertainment, they'll tell you that. I never wore chains. To be quite frank with you, unless I told you, or what most of the time happened, one of my friends would tell someone, hey, yo, you know he worked for Bad Boy, right? Yo, you got your man's album on you? You know what I'm saying? Or you got your man's CD on you? Yo, you know we're going to the studio next week, right? We're going to Dad's house. I just talked to my man Ron Thunderbird today from Unico Ray Coleman. He's originally from upstate New York, and now he's located in New Jersey. Syracuse to be exact. That's why I told Boyce Watkins a long time ago. I know a lot of people in Syracuse. My other man Amin and his brother Jamel, they're from Syracuse as well. So I know Syracuse University, I know Syracuse, New York. The funny thing about this all is, when we ask the question, should we cancel DaBaby, should we cancel T.I., should we cancel, we also got to take in contention something else. Should we cancel LilNasX? Because what the hell is he doing that's so notable and noble that it supersedes what the hell DaBaby said? I think we got our concentration point somewhere totally different than where it should be. Now, I get it. A lot of people want their rights, and, you know, I'll say it the same way I said it before. If you go 10, 15 years back, this 10, 15 years back, not even 10, 15 years back, I say even 7 years back in history in this country right now, you will see there was a different momentum. And things change, but this momentum that we've taken and grabbed is one of the worst. It will be in the future. It may not be currently in the immediate, but it will be in the future. We are teaching and conditioning people to think that they are more special and more important than what they actually are for the smidgest, smallest things. And we're celebrating this based on the fact that these people outside in the normal world would never even be recognized. I can tell you for a personal fact, I probably helped market, I'm gonna say probably close to 50 to 60 artists over 17 years, okay? The projects then would last for 4, 5, 6 months, or would roll out and everything like that. So probably close to 50 to 60 artists, all from different labels, from our label as well. Look at that, that's when you know God, then when you're telling the truth, you know what I'm saying? So we help push artists from Interscope Records, we help push artists from Arista Records, we help push artists from Atlantic Records, which are all three our distributors at one time or another. We also worked on the separate projects for those artists in separate accounts. Rome and a whole bunch of other guys I worked with, they'll vouch for that. Fred the Godson was one of those projects. John Quaid was one of those projects, who's also a friend of ours, and a whole host of other people that were coming up. Shells, who ended up having his first single with Alicia Keys. If many people don't know it, Clive Davis actually gave Puff the deal. That's why we were in the BMG building, which is the Brothers Music Group building. And he was part of Arista Records. So being part of Arista Records, he actually handed Puff the deal via his own. When Clive Davis left, he went and started J Records, okay? And I remember because Malcolm Miles went over there. You know what I mean? Malcolm Miles went over there, Billy Bang went over there, and there was somebody else who went over there from our office. But they went over there with Clive to start J Records. And I remember at the time, Shells, Alicia Keys, and there was one other person. They were the only 3 artists that were actually on J Records. And I remember the first time that I actually heard the single, I was in Harlem, I think I was on Adam Clayton Powell, and I ran into Shells. You guys can look up Shells if you want to. It's SHELLZ. He was actually on Queen's Flip not too long ago. So if y'all want to go check him out on Queen's Flip, make sure y'all do so. Just put in Queen's Flip and put in Shells. Be a nice interview on there. He'll tell you the whole thing. We went through the whole ride with him, from the HBO battles and all that, everything with him. So shout out to Shells, BX, the Bronx, good dude. You guys have got to realize, man, that the music that was even being put out 5 years ago was different. You know, the connotation of the music and what's involved in the music is totally different. The message is totally different. It used to be about, you know, getting out the hood, or, you know, the things that are going on in the hood, or whatever, even up to 5 years ago. And now it's turned into a thing where it's all about personal message, personal struggle, and putting your personal struggle out on display for everybody to see, and expecting no one to judge or everyone to accept what you're doing. And if they don't, your response is, man, let's cancel them. Let's get them off the internet. We don't like them. And everybody thinks it's funny until it's somebody you like. Or even maybe you. It ain't a problem to, it's you. You see what I'm saying? It's like an accident. Oh, I'm sorry that happened. Oh my God, my mom got hit by a car. You see what I mean? The effects are different. So, LilNasX, I believe, thinks that the best route for him to take is the sympathy ploy, the empathy ploy, the sympathy ploy, either or you want to use. And for me, the shit's not working. Can I say that? The shit is not working for me. I don't, for a minute, believe any of this bullshit. I like LilNasX as an artist, but LilNasX as a person, I think he's a devious motherfucker. And the reason I say he's a devious, manipulative motherfucker is because of pure simple fact, Brody, the last time I checked, your mom's is on drugs down in Atlanta. How come we ain't talking about that shit? Huh? For the last thing I know, when you first introduced yourself to the public, you waited until you got popping. Then you told everybody you were homosexual. And then you ran on the bandwagon of the homosexual community to receive money for them and be their champion. And let's not make no mistake, you made a lot of money. A lot of money. I know how it goes. The average artist, within the first year, year and a half, you're at least a single-digit millionaire. Beyond $1 million. So we're talking 3 to 4 million. That's why I laugh at a motherfucker when you ride past me in a Honda Accord or your BMW or whatever. Motherfucker, have you seen the type of cars that I've been in and been around? Lambos, Mazis, all that shit. All my life. All my life. Not just new. For y'all motherfuckers is new. For me, as you can see, I got pictures from 2001, 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, until I got fired in those same, or around those same vehicles, including Puff's vehicles. So, you're not impressing me with that little fucking money you got. A lot of people will think $100,000 is a lot of money. It ain't shit. $1 million ain't a lot. After the tax man come, they taking 30% of it. So don't try to, impress me with your money, because listen, dog, I work for a man that's soon to be worth $1 billion. Puff's assets are almost at $1 billion according to Forbes. And there's a lot of other black men and men of color just like him. Why you think Offset so easily can keep motherfucking Cardi B and they on baby number 2? So let's not make no mistakes about the longevity or the liquidity that's in the music business. It's still there. It's not as much as it used to be, but it's still there. At my time, it was when I was first starting. You could get a double CD. You would have to pay $18 for that. Now you get on a stream. You're lucky if you get 18 cents. If you got 18 cents off of a day, you win it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of artists, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. If you made 18 cents that day off of 1 or 2, 3 people, you had a good day. The pie is much smaller to chop up. But if you're popular and you're with the masses, the pie isn't that hard to chop up. If you got product based off your attraction from the masses because of the message you're sending, then it's not that hard. So I'll raise the question one more time before I get off of here. And I want you guys to leave it in the comments section for me. Instead of canceling DaBaby or canceling T.I. or canceling many of the other people that we choose to cancel because they say something that's pro-heterosexual, pro-man, or whatever. And I do believe men in this country, and I mean unilaterally, men in this country are under attack. You're almost not free to say, and I'm not saying say something obnoxious. I mean, you're almost not free to say what you want to say. I have to bite my tongue when I say it or whatever, whatever. And sometimes I just can't bite my tongue. And if I feel you a bitch, I'm going to call you a bitch. If I feel you a hoe, I'm going to call you a hoe. If I feel you a punk ass dude, I'm going to call you a punk ass dude. And like I said all the time, and I always emphasize this, I'm the smallest one in my crew. You know what I'm saying? I'm the smallest one in my crew, but one of the most dangerous ones, because that's the trick. You think because I'm slim, I won't do nothing to you. But as y'all have seen on camera a couple times, oh, I'll do something to you. Oh, I'll get you. And I'll make sure you don't see it coming. That's my specialty. I don't take pride in people that try to deceive people with their messages. I don't take pride in people that don't tell us what's up from the beginning. And LilNasX didn't tell us what was up from the beginning. He rode on the roller coaster saying he was gay when I think he saw it was popular. Because in Old Town Road, you didn't come out like that. And I'm going to have to re-listen to Old Town Road. Maybe I'll get a different perception of it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was trying to tell us. But I see a lot of chuck in this young man. I think he's going to get washed, used, and abused, and worn again and again and again until he starts getting holes and soot in him. And then they're just going to throw him away in the clothes hamper and never wear him again. And if you don't believe me when I said my comments about the LBGT community and how a lot of them feel about LilNasX and his representation, then I challenge you to go look up some of these comments for yourself, either on Twitter, either on Instagram, or either just browsing through YouTube and seeing your friendly local vlogger like myself. And you will come to the contention and the conclusion that, no, everybody's not supporting LilNasX. And no, a lot of people look at LilNasX as not a champion, but as a fucking fraud. You guys let me know what you think about LilNasX. Should we cancel him? Should we get rid of him? The same advocacy that's being led right now by many to get rid of the three artists mentioned, DaBaby, T.I., Malcolm Jamal Warner. I want to throw him in there. Now they're saying let's cancel him. And most importantly, Lil Bootsy. You know what I mean? Who has put in enough work, who has advocated enough, taught to the children, going school to school, and everything else you can think of. I haven't seen LilNasX do anything else but collect checks. And LilNasX, get your mama on a drug program, motherfucker. If y'all know what I'm talking about, his mom was running around Atlanta, and they got a video of it. It was put up on World Star Hip Hop, and it was like, "Ain't you LilNasX mama?" It's like, "Yeah." That's how she said. She said, "Yeah." That's a dope head's answer. Yeah. Trust me. I done been back and forth between New York and Connecticut all my life, and Jersey. And I've been in the roughest parts, I've been in the best parts, depending on what day it was. And trust me, I know that dope head response when I hear it. I tell you, ain't nothing stronger than a dope head, boy. I see the dope head on Tremont Ave. That motherfucker had a balance that was so impeccable on that damn meter. That motherfucker would go down. We would sit there and have bets. Be like, "Oh, he gonna fall this time." And then he'd lean a little bit and be like, "Oh shit," he woke back up. Give him my $10. That motherfucker didn't fall over. No, I'm not gonna make fun of LilNasX mama, but oh boy. While you sit up here pointing fingers at everybody, just remember, everybody can easily point fingers at you. And your mama been a seasoned drug addict. You a almost double-digit, well, you're a double-digit millionaire now, soon to be a triple-digit millionaire, based off your assets. Very quickly. Use your advocacy and use your power for something other than trying to point out who you feel they're picking on me. See, let me tell you something about people like LilNasX and people that surround him. Not all of them, but a lot of people that surround him. These are the nerds and the geeks of society. Okay, I don't give a fuck what you say about that. You're not going to do, even to this day, they're still nerds and the freaking weirdos of society. You understand what I'm saying? Society has found a way to make these motherfuckers feel more comfortable and more important than they actually are. You know, and sometimes you have to break these motherfuckers down, like I had to do one day when this guy tried to get small with me at an office where I was there on an appointment. You know what I'm saying? So I said, listen, do you realize you the janitor? I had to say it just like that to him. This motherfucker was talking to me like he was administration. I said, do you realize you the janitor? He didn't have no answer for that. You understand what I'm saying? I had to do that to a chick that worked at one of the fucking restaurants. I said, do you realize you're working at the counter making $15 an hour? Do you realize that? Do you realize you're 35 working at the counter serving me? And you trying to act like it's a reverse around and I'm serving you. That's your attitude. So you got a lot of people in these delusional spaces that can't differentiate reality versus their own personal narcissism. And I'm going to tell you the people that are going to make you wake up from that own personal narcissism. Two people. One, the courtrooms. Two, police officers. Oh, they'll wake you up real quick. They'll wake you up real quick. They'll wake you up. As we've seen so many times, you can't take me, it's my right. Get your motherfucking ass in the car, shut the fuck up. And put the cuffs on yourself, bitch. You know. These guys that you see, and so many of y'all behind right now, sticking behind, these are the fucking waywards, the nerds, the losers. These are the motherfuckers we used to beat the fuck up, all right? These are the motherfuckers who used to pay for our lunch. And for somehow or another, society has collectively said, okay, it's rise of the nerds, you know what I mean? And this shit'll pass over. This shit'll pass over, because sooner or later people will come to contention how lame these motherfuckers are. I can't stand when I talk to somebody and they sound like a fucking robot. And I'm like, you're trying to put this position, let me tell you something. When I worked at all three of those offices, I used to curse all the fucking time in front of rich ass white men, protrude ass white men. You know what I'm saying? And the funny fucking shit, well, not to say that because they're white, they should be held to some regard or something like that. Shit, there's white serial killers. Fuck that. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it was predominantly dominated in the building with whites or blacks, and then there was a sprinkle here or two with Latinos. But I think we had like maybe 7 people that were Latino that worked for the company, maybe 8. And this is out of like 40-something people, all right? So that were immediately always at the office every day. And there's nothing wrong with that. It was, you know, brothers and sisters, and, you know, whatever. But they were there. Now, the funny shit is, how can I explain this? A lot of people, they somehow or another came to contention. We must feel sorry for people. We must have this over-expressed empathy for these loser-ass motherfuckers, when we really should just break it down for what it really is. Your parents had bad DNA. You're a fat fuck. You're not very attractive. I know your friends want to tell you you're attractive, but you're not attractive. In fact, if you go in front of the people that don't know you, they're going to tell you you're not attractive. They're going to act like you're not attractive. They're going to treat you like you're fat. They're going to treat you like you're skinny. They're going to treat you like you're short. You understand what I'm saying? So no matter how much encouragement you got behind you, motherfucker, you're 5'4". There's nothing that's going to change that. Motherfucker, you're fat. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing that's going to change that in this immediate moment. I have had dudes and women walk past me that were completely obese, and they were walking like they weighed 135. And I'm like, have you fucking looked at yourself? Have you actually taken 5 seconds to look at yourself outside of what your friends are telling you? This is what this is. This mentality is nothing but collective bullshit. Tribalism. And it's a tribalism that's toxic. And it's toxic because you have delusional ass fucking people sitting there influencing other soon-to-be delusional motherfuckers. Now you have a mass and troop of a tribe of delusional motherfuckers that believe that the world revolves one way, but everything that's set in place says it revolves on an axis that's totally different. LilNasX is one of those people. This is a delusional little young boy. He's only, I believe, 23, 24. And like I said, you know, maybe some of the OGs need to go talk to him or something like that or whatever, because I have fear of what the next fucking video is going to be by this guy. You know, now you got to up the ante. You understand what I'm saying? This is how this goes. You got to up the ante. This is how Puff almost went broke when Clive lost the deal, because all those videos, if y'all remember, all those videos were multi-million-dollar videos. Been around the world, Victory. All these videos were multi-million-dollar videos. You know what I'm saying? So the budget got snatched and it got brought down to something else, and that's why you saw subsequently after that all the videos after Puff had been with Clive Davis, they were over. They were over. They were over. Now it was just regular videos like everybody else to save the budget or whatever. And a lot of other things came into play with that. It was the deduction of the music business as itself as it facilitated monetarily. That was one of the biggest things. The money, the cost of a CD had been deduced down, if you don't get what I'm saying. So it wasn't worth the same as it had previously been. LilNasX wouldn't have fit in a format like that in 2010. He wouldn't have fit in a format to society, to the masses in 2015, even 2016, 2017. I'm gonna go as far as that. But in the era, and a lot of people will say, well, Young Thug ain't do what this motherfucker did. Young Thug painted his fingernails. Young Thug wore suggestive type of clothes. You understand what I'm saying? Who's somebody else we can point out? 21, not 21 Savage, what's homeboy's name? I haven't heard his name in a long time, but he was another one. There was a litany of different younger guys that are out now doing music and putting out their play in the culture that honestly and truthfully, these guys, if you want to say that they were feminine in style, I would say decadent. I would use that word more fluently than I would use the latter. But they were definitely decadent. And they were nothing like LilNasX. I've never seen Young Thug kiss a man. People make fun of Baby and Lil Wayne and that little smack they did or whatever. They were emulating some Italian shit, you know? Which Governor Cuomo, you know, feel how you may or may not want to about him. I know the Italian. I grew up around a lot of Italians. I grew up around a lot of Greeks. They do that shit. The older ones. They do that shit. Buongiorno, you know, kiss them on the cheek or whatever. It's a family thing. It's a way of a mission of love, you know. And it's not for every culture, you know. Every culture's got their own thing. Black people, they have a tendency to walk up to each other and hug you. How many of y'all been through that? You know what I'm saying? I done had a couple motherfuckers hug me. I was like, you get your big ass off. I got one homeboy. Like I said, all my homies are bigger than me. I don't know what it is. All throughout my life, all the guys that I've ever hung out with from the time I was like in 5th, 6th, 7th grade, they were always football players or whatever. They convinced me to join a football team one year. I was tight end, got racked the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Broke my leg, you know what I'm saying? But I was still at the games even with a broken leg. I sat right there, got my trophy, everything. You know what I'm saying? And was commended because I went out with a broken leg. You know what I mean? By the whole team. But you know, that's not the sport for me. You know what I mean? But the only guys that are bigger than me and having a crew of guys that are like that, I know when I see someone, I can tell by looking at somebody's eyes. I can even tell when you're front. You know what I'm saying? Because of the depths and shit that I've been in before I got into the music industry. You know what I'm saying? Which I made the paper for 2 times. So make no mistake about it. I know what criminal, I know, and it doesn't matter what facility you are as a criminal. You can be a slick one, a manipulative one, whatever. It's just a vibe I get off of you. I can even get it if you've been around that before. You know, I've lived in all three. I've lived in Jersey, I've lived in New York, and of course here home in Connecticut on the shoreline. So I know when I see them, whether you in Hartford, Bridgeport, Newark, fucking Brooklyn, the Bronx, it don't fucking matter. You got your own version of it, but it's still the same fucking thing. And really, when you put it collectively, it's the Northeast. This guy's a scam. And you're gonna find that out. And when you find out LilNasX is a fucking scam, a lot of y'all gonna be upset. A lot of y'all gonna be like, I can't believe it. He did this to us. Well, boo-boo the fool on you. Let's see what you guys are writing in here, if anything. All right, what's going on? Hey. Yeah, I ain't really do that. I just kind of did this impromptu because I just wanted to talk about it. It had been on my mind earlier. And I said to myself, I said, yo, that's a good question. If we're trying to cancel Baby, T.I., and Lil Bootsy, shouldn't we cancel LilNasX right along with it? I mean, what the fuck is he doing to contribute? That's the question. Guys, Cash App, links in the description. Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. Also, there's a PayPal link in the description. You guys can hit that up as well. This will probably be my last one for the night, but look for an upload. I might even put it up tonight or tomorrow. And I'm going to further this question again tomorrow for more people to see. Because it's late right now. I expected not to have as many viewers as I do during the day. I seen that the day is the best time for me, I think. You know, so I'm going to keep doing the night ones too. But I think I'm going to more put a focus on doing stuff during the day, like especially the mornings and stuff like that. Because it seems like you guys are up and bright. And the earlier I go, I see the more people I get. So we're going to go back to the format where we were doing them at 7, 8 a.m., 9-ish, you know what I mean, whatever. And midday, mid-afternoon, late afternoon, and possibly then night. But I'm still, for the people that like seeing me at night and everything like that, I know some of y'all prefer night, you work during the day and stuff like that. I'll still be on. And so if you don't catch me on the rebroadcast, you can catch me live, and I'll always give you a hint of when I'm going live, usually, but I didn't get to do that tonight. So guys, if you see this on the rebroadcast, once again, it's $STRINGERBELL80. That is Stringer Bell 80. Also, there's a PayPal link in the description. You do not need to sign up for PayPal to actually utilize it. I don't know why so many people think that, but you know. So hit that up if you would, please. And guys, make sure that you love each other, whatever. And question the fact, is LilNasX actually fucking authentic? And should we cancel him? Leave your thoughts in the comments section. I am David Lewis, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow morning. You have a good night. Get some rest. And make sure you pay attention to those alerts and like, and share this video with your friends or whatever, and ask them the same question. I want everybody to fill in. Should we cancel LilNasX? I'll talk to you guys some more. Thank you.